Greetings, YouTube. When most people think of racism, they think of overt acts. A noose hung in a tree as a warning. A cross burning. My ex actually experienced a cross burning within a mile of where she was living at the time. Kind of terrifying. But it also can be much more subtle. So subtle that the people who are engaging in the act, if you asked them, would deny that they are in fact racist or being racist. But the people who are being affected by the comments or the attitudes or the behaviors, they are well aware of this. I used to work with a gentleman, and he was Vietnamese, and he didn't look like your traditional Vietnamese person. He looked Latino. And he actually received really unpleasant reactions from Latino coworkers because he didn't speak Spanish. And they would yell at him and say, "Why are you disrespecting your heritage?" And he would yell back at them, "Because I'm Vietnamese. I speak Vietnamese." So he wasn't disrespecting his heritage. He wasn't raised speaking Spanish. It wasn't a language he knew. He spoke English and he spoke Vietnamese. His Vietnamese was better than his English. But that kind of racism can bear down on someone. Now I'm going to link to a series of photos, and I'm going to read you some of the captions from the photos. And in the photo, each is a person holding a sign in front of them. So you can clearly see the person's face and their body, but they're holding the sign in front of their chest. And even without looking at the images, I'm sure that you could probably figure out what these people look like. So, here we go. Can you see as much as white people? You know, because of your eyes. You're really pretty for a dark-skinned girl. This girl sitting next to me moves to sit closer to someone else she's talking to. And this white guy whispers loudly that she's moved because I, quote unquote, smell like rice. You don't act like a normal black person, you know? You don't speak Spanish. Just because I'm Mexican, that doesn't mean I should be the automatic first choice for the role of Dora the Explorer in the high school skit. So what does your hair look like today? She said as she pulled off my hat without my permission. No, you're white. When people think it's weird that I listen to Carrie Underwood. Courtney, I never see you as a black girl. What are you? Human. Being biracial doesn't make me a what? No. Where are you really from? Not your effin' China doll. The limited representation of my race in your classroom does not make me the voice of all black people. So, you're Chinese, right? You're not really Asian. When I gave a speech about racism, the MC introduced me as Jaime Garcia. My name is Jaime Rodriguez. Not all Latinos have the last name Garcia. Can you read this? He showed me a Japanese character on his phone. So, like, what are you? When standing next to my mom, why is your daughter so white? So what do you guys speak in Japan? Asian? So, just from the text I've read, you could probably have a pretty good idea of what's going on in these people's lives. And these kinds of statements are being said every day, all over America, all over the Western world, I'm sure all over the world itself. And it's this casual type of comment that can wear you down. drip by drip, it'll help erase a mountain. And it's unnecessary. Because all it takes is a person to step outside themselves a little bit, not much, just a little bit, and to understand the concepts of sympathy, empathy, and compassion. That the person across from them is a person first and foremost, a human being. And then they are any number of other things: ethnicity, sex, gender, orientation, presentation, political affiliation, religious affiliation, hobby. They are all kinds of different things. But first and foremost, they are a human being. They are not their skin. They are not their DNA. They are a human being. And it's apparently very easy for a lot of people to forget that. And it's painful to listen to. It's hard for me to listen to, and I'm frequently one of the whitest white boys in town. There was a time in my life when I would say nothing. But now I'm more inclined to speak up. And if the person really, sincerely, and honestly doesn't know what they're doing, I try to be pleasant about it. I try to nudge them into a healthier direction. Sometimes it works. Sometimes I can make them stop and think. And even if I can only make them think for a minute, that's cool. Because even for that 1 minute, they've stepped outside themselves and moved into a healthier direction. One where they're maybe less inclined to make these kinds of statements in everyday life. So tell me, folks, when you've encountered these kinds of things, what has your reaction been? Have you been the victim of this kind of a statement because of your ethnicity, because of where you live and where you don't live, and what you appear like? I've had people assume that I was racist just because I happen to be very white. That right there is an insult, I guess, too.